Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever, where today we're going to be casting a high-level ladder match between two players playing UEF and Aeon. So, yeah. One of these players is going to be in the tournament, which is going to be pretty cool. Let's go ahead and get into introducing our players with Team Blue on the left and Team Red on the right. We're going to start with the blue player, a blue UEF going by the name of Bloodthirst, otherwise known as Explosive. Then over to the right-hand side of the map with Team Red, we have ourselves a Red Aeon going first land by the name of Eternal. And they're going to be duking it out on this map known as Darkfall. There's about 13,000 reclaims spread throughout the map. Not too much reclaim. It is going to, of course, be a 1v1. There are these other starting positions that people generally expand to pretty quickly. They are just for mexes here and here and here and here. And yes, these players spawn as far away from each other as humanly possible. At least with the spawn points on this map. There are two giant cliff things that you can't traverse up to them. I don't believe that's not traversable. That's a little bit steep. But yes, you need transports to get these, and they do have the reward of much mass. Just right here, 2,000 mass, all of that mass. There's all these craters. It's a very nice looking map. It's very appealing. You also have these cliffs here in the middles where they have to get transports. Transports are very good for getting mass extractors on this map. It's pretty much just everywhere. We're going to be seeing a very, very early mech marine out from Bloodthirst. You know what? Let's go ahead and just do some fun stuff. Let's see if this mech marine does as well as the bomber in the last game. And yeah, we'll have something that bomber can compare to. Meanwhile, while this is all happening, let's talk about the balance of the game. It is going to be a 1742 versus an 1815. So relatively balanced. These players are pretty close to each other, and they have similar openings. I'm not really looking at the openings, but they both go first land. They both kind of just build up some land spam and eventually get an air factory. We can see some forward queued mass extractors, power generators, and factories out from Eternal right there in this screen as we watch the mech marine run around. Oh, he's running. Dude, somebody needs to make a mod where the mech marine Naruto runs. That would be hilarious. I would install that mod and never turn it off. Like, seriously, I would cast every game with the Naruto running mech marine mod on. Because wouldn't it be hilarious? Like, it already has part of the run. It's already kind of like leaning forward and it's doing the entire thing. You just have to move those giant beefy arms backwards and it would be Naruto running all of the time. That would be beautiful. Oh my gosh. Naruto running mech marine. Woo! Oh, okay. The camera really doesn't like me being so high up. This mech marine is running for its life, so we're going to go ahead and stop tracking it. I need to oh no, I've turned everything off. Whoops. Meanwhile, we can see over here, we do have some early air play going on. I haven't seen a bomber quite yet, but maybe we missed it. If there was a bomber, it didn't cause any significant damage. Meanwhile, the comm of Eternal has moved out to take these full mass extractors, while on the other side we can see Bloodthirst doing the same. Actually, Bloodthirst making a huge mistake. Bloodthirst sitting here AFK. Yep, that comm was super inefficient. Bloodthirst, you're an 18. You're a 1700. You have no excuse for having idle comms or engineers. You're supposed to be the better example for everybody. I'm just fucking around with Bloodthirst. He's in my Discord. He's a very cool person. Go check out my Discord if you want to see talk to some cool people. We have an early transport out over here from Eternal, dropping off an engineer onto the area over here. We don't have the same out from Bloodthirst quite yet, so if Eternal is quick enough, could grab up this mass area as well and get quite a little bit of territory that is going to be hard to assail. Meanwhile, we have more factories coming out for Eternal. Let's go ahead and look at the reclaim so far. Both players getting quite a little bit. Eternal coming out a little bit better with that, with 1.9 thousand reclaim versus 1.6 out from Bloodthirst. Overall economies, it looks pretty even. Eternal down a little bit, around 30, whereas Bloodthirst is reaching up towards the 40s, the high 30s, low 40s range. Meanwhile, we have some Auroras coming out, going to be killing off a couple of mexes, which is... Nope, don't switch your target. There you go. You're gonna get that mex. That's gonna be a dead mex. Good job, Auroras. Good job, you little hovery bastards, getting all your little damage in. Look at that mass extractor. It's gonna have a cute, beautiful explosion. Yeah, come on. Explode for me, mass extractor. Explode. Bloodthirst coming out, going to zap those two little mass extractors away. It does look like we had a bomber. I don't think it got anything done. It was a bomber out from Eternal. And we don't have any bombers out from Bloodthirst as far as I know. And we do have another transport dropping over here where it's going to look like Eternal has gotten control of the two kind of plateaus, kind of cliff areas. There's also this area on the outside. I mean, it definitely looks like you could land stuff out here. You could do some very sneaky stuff, like land some engineers way down here, T2 engineers, build some stealth fields if possible, and then possibly get up some like TAC missile shenanigans going on. But that is something I've never really seen on this map, so maybe it's just not possible. Maybe this is just uneven enough to ever build anything, but still. Meanwhile, we have the comm of Bloodthirst going to be coming out for this expansion out from Eternal, going to be trying to just kill off these mass extractors. Meanwhile, in the middle, we're seeing a little bit of an engagement kickoff. It is going to be a relatively chill engagement so far. We just have the units from Eternal falling back. The Aurora, always very nice for the micro in the early game. It's kind of hard to deal with it, but they can just keep it at range as long as they want to. As long as they just keep falling back and you're on top of your micro, it's very hard to deal with Auroras. Of course, you do need to make sure you have enough radar or enough scouts to get out there and make sure that your units can fire from the maximum range. The Aurora, of course, not having that much vision range and having no radar, not that great at shooting at its maximum range without assistance. But once you have that assistance, Aurora's extremely powerful, and we can see these units out from Bloodthirst slowly getting whittled down. Meanwhile, over here, we do have this area also taken by Eternal, and we have some more expansion out. Eternal focusing much heavier on the periphery of the map, going for these cliffs, whereas it does seem like Bloodthirst is kind of trying to focus here in the middle of the map and focus on the low ground. Nobody going for either of these middle cliffs. I'm guessing they are the most difficult to hold. I'm pretty sure artillery fire, if you place it close enough to this cliff, can just shoot up to that one. This one would be a little bit more difficult. We do have engineers going out. Let's go ahead and... Ooh, we have another transport coming out. Is this going to be a tank transport? Yes, it is. We're going to see some cheeky, breaky tank action down here in the bottom. This could be very, very bad for Eternal, but I'm pretty sure... Or for Bloodthirst, Eternal would be very happy with this. We do have a T1 bomber out from Bloodthirst, going to be burning down some Aeon units. All that was left of him was a little piece of scrap metal. And, yeah, we'll have to see. This bomber didn't get a kill off that, strangely enough. But let's see, is this bomber going to get any kills here? It's going to drop and going to kill off 2 Aeon units. And it does leave 1 wreck. The Scorcher very good at killing off wrecks after it kills off the unit. Meanwhile, over here we can see that this transport is getting relatively close to the base. Does Bloodthirst have radar of this? No, he doesn't. So he is not going to know about this until it's already landed. And, oh, the transport was shy for a moment there. Decided not to do what it could have. Meanwhile, over here in the middle, it does look like there's a lot of units pouring in for Bloodthirst, and it does seem like there's more factories out for Bloodthirst at the moment. It is going to be Eternal getting that gun upgrade. Has already canceled gun speed and range before, but just finished range and is working on speed. and that could be very important. And hello, darling, and hi, good luck, have fun. And yeah, we do have a lot of interceptors out over here. Did that transport land? The transport did land. It did drop 2 Auroras right here, and deciding not to go for the main base. Gonna go for these periphery mexes instead, and then gonna possibly try and get the transport out. Transport has to take a long time to ascend. Meanwhile, over here in the middle, we can see a very far forward factory out from Bloodthirst going to be going down in a matter of moments. Or maybe it won't. Maybe it won't. This far forward factory looking like it's going to survive as the Auroras try and fall away from this massive group of spam. And it does just seem like there's not enough units out on the field for Eternal at the moment, getting stretched a little bit thin, but is getting some run-bys in, killing off a few mass extractors here on the front. Let's go ahead and while all of this is happening, check on the reclaim numbers. We can see Bloodthirst sitting at 6.5k and around 29 mass a second, whereas Eternal is sitting at 5.6k and around 59 mass a second. So definitely a huge advantage for Eternal this match, already far ahead from his opponent. Doesn't seem to have quite as much spam, but maybe that's just his units are more grouped up. It did seem like Bloodthirst is starting to be pushed back a little bit now. Meanwhile, over here in the middle, we can see that, or over here on the western flank, we can see a factory being put into danger for Bloodthirst, but that is not the end of it. We do have T2 land out from Bloodthirst, going to be building up some Mongoose. I'm super excited to see some Mongoose used very well. I've been casting, as I've said, a lot of low-level games recently, so you see Mongoose get kind of just thrown away. We have gun damage and range on the way for Bloodthirst. We do, of course, have the speed and range upgrade for Eternal, so Eternal going to be able to get a lot of work done with that. We have a attempted run-by over here from Bloodthirst, going to be causing issue. The units out from Eternal kind of overextended down to the south, leaving a little bit of an opening. These units are going to get in here, going to kill off a couple mass extractors, possibly even get some legitimate damage done onto this factory, but it is going to be sandwiched in by various units and killed off. We have, of course, a lot of factories out from both of these players. We don't see anybody going too heavily on to the economy teching up. We do have T2 Air now out from Eternal, building a Spectre gunship. So T2 land for Bloodthirst and T2 Air for Eternal. Eternal now having a T2 Pigeon done, going to feel very good about that. This forward kind of situation for the HQ is a little bit strange to me. Does seem like it's a bit more vulnerable than it needs to be. Meanwhile, we do have T1 bombers out from Bloodthirst trying to harass that comm of Eternals, and it does look like Bloodthirst is getting a bit of an inroads in over here with 36 kills on that comm and only 21 on Eternals. Bloodthirst is going to use this comm to try and brute force down some factories and stop Eternal from out-producing him so much. We do have some Mongoose over here racking up kills. This Mongoose did get killed off by the range of the Aurora. I don't know, does the Aurora have more range than the... Let's see. Can I get more unit info? Direct fire... Nope. What is the range of the Aurora's weapon? It's 0 to 26 range. Whereas the Mongoose, does it have more range? It does have 34 range. So the Mongoose can't outrange the Aurora. I'm guessing those Mongoose were just caught out, but now they're just running straight into the enemy, and that's not what you should do with Aurora. Come on. Come on. Or not what you should do with Mongoose. Mongooses. Something. Mongooses. Meanwhile, we do have, this comm from the Aeon. Aeon comms look very nice. I do like the look of the Aeon comm. Meanwhile, over here we do have a bomber going to be dropping bombs. That fire damage is going to be enough to give over the kill to Bloodlust, sitting on 2 vet with that comm. Meanwhile, only 1 vet out for Eternal, getting up a bunch of kills with that comm and very heavily pressuring this location. We do have all of these bombers out here. I don't know why we don't have a couple of swift wins created just to kill off all these bombers and get air supremacy, because these bombers are over here just slowly doing attritional damage by dropping these fire bombs, gonna slowly kill off these mexes and these factories. And the comm of Bloodthirst getting a little bit low, dropping into the yellow, does need to fall back, does have a decent number of units over here to try and keep Eternal from just running him down with his own comm. And it just seems like the amount of units that Eternal has slowly dissipated. The comm of Bloodthirst still running away from this, but Eternal being pulled away to deal with some land spam, and there is so much reclaim over here in the middle of the map. 7,000 reclaim just right here. If Eternal can hold on to this, could be able to scoop up a ton of mass very quickly. We have nano repair on the way for Bloodthirst, going to make that comm a bit tankier, going to get more health regeneration on that already 2 vet, almost 3 vet comm. And over here, Eternal is just like, no, you're not allowed to get that upgrade. I will push on you and stop that from happening, as a pillar goes down right in front of his eyes. Do we have T2 land on the way yet? Yes, we do. We have T2 land. We have multiple factories upgrading to T2 so he can get a lot of production out. Let's go ahead and switch back to the normal economies. These players seemingly very even on eco. 73 mass a second versus 41. Never mind. Bloodthirst super behind and in a massive power stall. Is he building T2 power anywhere? No, he is not. He just cannot afford this nano upgrade, it would seem, but needs to get it finished. Meanwhile, the economy of Eternal looks like he's having slight trouble spending all of his money. He isn't quite running out, or not quite wasting mass yet, but isn't quite spending all of it as of the moment either. Meanwhile, over here, we do see some mass extractors going to be going down for Eternal. Do we have Tech 2 mass extractors out yet for Eternal? It feels like he has a lot of mass. No, it just must be the map controlled. Oh, we do have Tech 2 mass extractors, deciding to build them over onto these cliff faces where they are possibly more safe. Meanwhile, over here in the middle, we see Eternal getting up to 2 vet, working towards the 3rd vet as it kills off Mongoose, and more factories going down. Going to be a very difficult thing to hold out here, but is going to try and attempt to keep these units at bay. Meanwhile, we have Tech 3 land already on the way, going to be producing a few blazes, but possibly just going to go straight for the Tech 3 land spam. May get some asylums up to try and help soak some damage, but it does look like Eternal is holding out quite well against this. Is going to be coming forward with that gun comm and throwing some shots into this T2 army that has amassed for Bloodthirst, and we do see Bloodthirst's comm continue to get that upgrade. It's looking about 75% complete. If that finishes, it's going to give him a great advantage over Eternal. Eternal's options to keep his comm relatively safe would be to go for a upgrade like Shield. Eternal looking to try and get on a transport, it would seem. Is Eternal going to get onto this transport? Is the transport going to die? No, it is not going to die. Those T2 units putting Eternal into some serious danger there. Nano repair finishing for Bloodthirst as the T2 units, these Obsidians, show up with some blaze support. And many units going to show up about 60% now onto that T2 land HQ upgrade to T3. And we're not seeing any kind of mirroring out from Bloodthirst. I don't know if Bloodthirst has any idea what's going on. Hasn't scouted all of this in a very long time, so doesn't know of the upgrade taking place. If you do scout this, you can see whether it's upgrading to T3 or not based off the animation. Meanwhile, Obsidian's killing off some tanks who did manage to get some run-bys in, and this is going to be a bit of a stunning game. I don't see any T2 mass extractors out yet for Bloodthirst, so Eternal is sitting on a mass lead. If he can manage to spend all of his mass and get more production up, could be causing massive issue for Bloodthirst very soon. On reclaim front, it does look like Bloodthirst is winning out there, though, with 24,000 reclaim versus 16,000 for Eternal. But Eternal is kind of running away with the mass totals this game, almost over 10,000 more than his opponent. But Bloodthirst has managed to just push in and absolutely destroy this forward base that was built up by Eternal. Eternal having issues, and run-bys have killed off these mass extractors in the back. And it does seem that Bloodthirst is going to be able to continue pushing forward over here. Always very important to keep your comm safe, but also very useful to have that comm up here doing damage. 93 kills and almost 4 veterancy, only a couple thousand more mass to kill to get that 4th veterancy. The Calm of Eternal over here still throwing shots into the opponent. We do have some Oblivions going on online and a bunch of Obsidians now out on the field to try and help Eternal hold off this push from going any further. Are we going to start? Oh no, I clicked off of the game, damn it. I'm so bad at this, I keep doing it like it seems every cast now. I go over to move the map and then that happens. Do we have any mobile missile launchers on the way? I would expect a few. We do right here. We see a Flapjack. Is that also a Flapjack? Nope, that's a pillar. We're going to start seeing some mobile missile launchers. You could, of course, use those over here. Going to need to get up some TMD in the main base because these are going to start causing issues right here. We do have some parashields up, going to make it a little bit harder to press on this force, but Harbingers are now being produced in mass and very quickly, it would seem. Already 2 on the field, and that upgrade did not finish very long ago. That factory having heavy assistance, and he is able to afford it just only slightly negative in the mass field. And we are going to be, of course, seeing some reclaims start happening that will help with the production of those Harbingers, which can also reclaim. So it could just constantly snowball into having a higher tier force. Do we see a response out from Bloodthirst? We do. He's going immediately for T3 on his HQ. I accidentally grabbed the minimap. I can't do anything right today. Stop making fun of me. Bloodthirst is, of course, trying to build a Clink Hammer over here on the front. That could be successful, but it seems like an untenable situation. Once enough Harbingers build up, you'll have a critical mass, and that's going to happen before you have a T3 land factory. And this critical mass of Harbingers is going to be able to threaten this situation. It just has to stay out of the range of overcharge and keep themselves separated or stay underneath shielding, and that will be enough to keep themselves alive, at least temporarily. Harbingers quite tanky with those personal shields. Not quite as good as a Brick or a Percival, but is cheaper, so that is an option. We're seeing some Scorchers come over here, trying to drop bombs onto the T2 power. Not going to quite get enough damage on it. Gonna need to see some repairs onto that T2 power generator, I would think. You don't want to be losing that anytime soon. If you lose that, you could be in a lot of danger. The Clink Hammer still being built, currently sitting around 67%, is going to be going up relatively quickly. Meanwhile, over here we have some Obsidians coming over here, trying to stop a Bloodthirst from expanding to the forward position formerly held by Eternal. Bloodthirst holding all of the map control over here, but is matched in economy by these 2 outposts on the plateaus. We had some engineers dropped over here, not seemingly interested in building any kind of mass extractors. That seems like a mistake. I would like to see Eternal build up those mass extractors and then worry about reclaiming trees. Meanwhile, over here we do see there are now 5 Harbingers out on the field, and that is enough to be quite impactful. We do, of course, see a major power stall going on for Eternal. Eternal doesn't quite have the power to run all these shields he's producing. Going to need to start building a lot more power generators in various places. May even be worth it to try and get up a T3 engineer really quickly and just immediately build a T3 power generator. We do have a T2 power generator being built by some T2 engineers over here that will slowly get built, but with the power stall he's currently in, it's going to be quite hard. It does seem that something's been paused and somehow has managed to balance the economy, and that's going to help out a lot. We do have a T2 transport. We do have the Illuminar building up some Harbingers, going to be getting some Harbingers onto that Illuminar, possibly going to be trying to drop in the back of the main base of Bloodthirst. T3 about to finish for Bloodthirst. Bloodthirst going to be able to get out some Percivals or Titans or just anything T3 to try and counter this sort of Harbinger push. The only way to really fight T3 land units is to build your own, or to go with T4, or to have a lot of lucky overcharges. But over here we do see the Clink Hammer has finished and is firing, is going to manage to kill off a mass extractor, which is going to be very painful for Eternal. Going to need to get up that power generator very soon. Going to need to be able to get up shielding around this base or be able to stop this. A pause happening and Eternal saying fucker. But that is going to be a hard position to break over here for Eternal. Needs to get in here and cause some massive damage. Needs to get rid of that Clink Hammer on his front door. Going to be causing major amounts of pain for his economy if he does not. Could also even threaten things like the land factories. But let's see, yeah, there's an artillery shell flying right towards that HQ, and it is going to land on it. Of course, the HQ will be repaired, and that is going to be, of course, a solved issue. But if it kills off engineers in mass number, it's going to be very hard to continue building at this rate. Bloodthirst walking up, getting shot at by a bunch of Harbingers, health flying off the comm down to 14,000, but is going to fall back to the safety of his T2 army and shields. Is looking like Eternal's about to be pushed back quite hard right here. We do have a ton of T2 units. The Harbingers will help out quite a little bit with this, and the Comm of Eternal itself will help out. The Obsidians are also pretty fucking great at dealing with large attacks, and their main weakness, of course, being that mobility. But if the enemy comes to you, they will more than happily shoot them down with that high alpha damage cannon, and the shield to boot is going to be able to do quite a little bit. We do have, of course, Oblivions even back here to help with this. A lot of units are going to be dying right here on the front for Bloodthirst, and Eternal losing relatively little in that. Still has all of the Harbingers that were there before that attack came in. And we do, of course, see some TMD over here and a shield going up to protect that newly built power generator. But over here, it does look like that push out from Bloodthirst has really thinned out the herd, has really caused the situation to be kind of worse. It would have been better to just keep on building up, I would think, a couple more Clink Hammers, build up some more kind of ways to deal with the base from afar, instead of trying to break this position with Obsidians and Harbingers. But maybe I'm wrong, maybe it did achieve something. Meanwhile, we do not see anything going on over here. We did not see the Harbinger drop go down, but it does look like the Harbingers possibly killed off these two factories, these two air factories out for Bloodthirst. It's the only damage I'm seeing, so I don't know where else those Harbingers could have been dropped to cause significant damage. Meanwhile, over here we see the Comm of Eternal, and the army is still pushing in, but it's kind of feeling like it's petering out. Not quite enough units to break this position, and we do see some mobile missile launchers fall into the ground there. Eternal just trying to break this position, and Bloodthirst just constantly throwing more and more units at the situation. Bloodthirst able to keep a very offensive footing over here in this game. Of course, most of the economy out for Eternal is now onto these cliffs, so able to keep this up as long as the production stays there. Eternal still has a decent mass income. Meanwhile, we do have T2 air, or whoa, that is a dead T2 power generator, which means Eternal is in a power stall. Yep, Eternal is about to be power stalling hard as some Janus come in, some T2 air comes in to drop some fire bombs, going to be causing massive damage to these structures. Janus great at dealing with structures, and we do have some mobile flak being built up, but this Janus killing off 8 units, getting off that power generator, going to get seemingly one more pass before the flak kills them off. Only gets about half of the pass down, but is going to drop onto some engineers and kill them off, so that's going to be some dead engineers out for Eternal. And Eternal seemingly unable to afford the Harbinger spam, going to get out some some Sprite Strikers, try and get out some ranged units to help deal with this position. But now we have Percival showing up, and that's going to be very hard to deal with. You had the tech advantage for a long time, but just couldn't manage to get enough T3 units out onto the field to break this position, and now you're in some trouble. We're seeing some triads being thrown up. This fire base just going to slowly grow, it would seem. We started with our Clink Hammer, now we have a shield, we have parashields, we have triads going up, we have possibly a scatter shield, which is a T2 UEF stealth field generator. And that could be very useful. It would make it a lot harder for these units to attack. Of course, you could always get sensors on the comm to make that less of an issue. We only have one Harbinger left up here, and we of course have the Sprite Striker showing up to try and deal some damage to all of this. Sprite Striker going to be very good at killing off Percivals, I would feel. We're going to see a few more shots flying out from that, and it does chunk the Percival a little bit. We do have the attempt at building Oblivions on the front line. It is going to be shut down by the comm of Bloodthirst along with some mobile missile launchers. And we do have more and more factories trying to be built up over here and a lot of reclaim going down. Looking at the overall reclaim, we can see that 44,000 reclaim has gone to Bloodthirst, whereas Eternal is sitting at 29,000. And as we zoom out, we can see that overall the map control seems heavily influenced by Bloodthirst. Bloodthirst having a lot better position in this game, it would seem. And we are, of course, going to be coming up on to a situation that Eternal's going to have to build up something to attack. Like, it just feels like Eternal needs an attack and needs it now. Do we have anything spicy like a T3 mass extractor somehow? No, we do not. Eternal sitting at, it has managed to bring back the power situation, is able to bank up a little bit of mass, and is getting T3 production back online, has multiple factories that can build T3 units, and two heavily assisted factories building T3 land right now, is going to be able to field a relatively large T3 force. But meanwhile, on the other hand, we haven't been really looking at the production out for Bloodthirst, and Bloodthirst has one T3 factory just producing Percivals. It is, of course, heavily assisted. We do have a fervor drop out over here in the back of the base for Bloodthirst, and it looks like Eternal's going to get some meaningful damage done. Is going to be able to kill off some energy storage and various other things, may even get in towards these mexes. If they knew about this T2 mix down here, I'm sure they'd be booking it. Of course, these units are about to be getting reclaimed, or the reclaim is already happening over here. It looks like the UEF engineers were trying to reclaim the factory over there. We do have a Janus trying to drop fire bombs, but desperately missing. That is an unfortunate situation. The terrain over here, that high cliff, is causing the targeting computer, I guess, on that little Janus to shit the bed a little bit. Meanwhile, Bloodthirst trying to push out a little bit. This area over here has changed hands so many times, but it now is yet again in the hands of Eternal. Eternal going to try and push out over here. All of this area has been, wow, there is still a lot of reclaim, like just natural reclaim on this map that hasn't been taken. This area has been built up. We even have T2 mexes being built up over there. And it does look like Eternal is just able to keep up with the economy that Bloodthirst has. Bloodthirst spending a lot more on units, I would feel. And it just looks like overall Eternal's growing this mass lead he's accrued. But overall, it does just feel like Bloodthirst has a advantage in the army sizes, but it's slowly being dissipated as these sprite strikers are built up and slowly just pick off unit after unit. It does seem like the Clink Hammer has been non-consequential. Killing off some economy over here does not matter whenever all of his economy is based onto these cliffs. And of course there's a little bit back here. But yeah, this is just looking to be a situation where possibly Eternal will be able to push Bloodthirst out. Eternal does need to be careful with that comm. Both comms at 5 vet now. Both comms at over 100 kills. 155 for Eternal and 133 for Bloodthirst, and both comms having killed about, well, no, Bloodthirst comm has killed 15.9 thousand worth of mass, and Eternal's only killed 1.2 thousand worth. We do see more Clink Hammer fire firing into the base just constantly, and we of course have some mobile missile launchers, those flapjacks throwing missiles towards these structures. Meanwhile, over here, it does seem that there was some kind of attack over here that caused some massive damage. I haven't been paying enough attention over there. We do have a Janus out over on this northern flank, going to be trying to kill off some of this economy that's been built up over a long time for Bloodthirst. Is looking like we are going to need to see some more AA built up over here to keep this all safe. If the economy goes down for Eternal, I don't believe he will be able to keep up this attack, and we see more units pressuring out from Eternal. Eternal getting some meaningful damage done, it would feel, while also being able to run away from all of this. Some Percivals now getting dangerously close to the comm of Eternal. Eternal could be in some major damage here as he falls back to the safety of his own parashields. Sorry about that, needed a drink. My throat was kind of killing me. Meanwhile, Over here, we do see Bloodthirst is just going to be falling back after that. Saw an opportunity to deal damage to the comm. Didn't quite get what he was expecting out of it. Man, these Percivals. Harbingers over there with their spindly legs, making great strides towards the opponent. Meanwhile, Percivals just throwing shots in to those Harbingers out from Eternal. Eternal also managing to get some meaningful damage in over here, killing off some units. I don't know why I keep on saying meaningful damage. Most of this is actually inconsequential damage. Don't listen to me. I'm not knowledgeable on this game. I know how the game works. I know all the mechanics. I know some general strategies and good ideas, but I'm bad when it comes to like, ooh, what should I do right here? What should I do right there? Ooh, no, I'm bad with that. So stop taking my advice. Just take my advice when it comes down to a game mechanic, because I understand all of those pretty goddamn well. More than most, apparently. Meanwhile, Bloodthirst over here is managing to get a little bit ahead of himself, getting shot at by that comm out from Eternal. And yeah, Eternal going to be now the one who's caught out a little bit ahead of themselves. Of course, Bloodthirst with the 80 health a second on the comm, a lot tankier than the 40 health a second for Eternal. Also has more HP with 20,000 versus 16.5 thousand. So Eternal just trying to get anything he can done with the main comm itself, but isn't quite finding the inroads he would like. Bloodthirst power stalling. Bloodthirst is power stalling quite hard. I don't see any T2 power out from Bloodthirst at the moment. We do have one up here. Bloodthirst putting all of the important stuff just kind of in the middle of the map. Nothing important is back here. Not a single thing. Other than this T2 mass extractor, nothing important is way back here. It's all like here and just randomly scattered about T2 power gens. Very sporadic way to play the game. We do have a lot of flares coming out just to kill off a bunch of engineers over here trying to get some reclaim, which is a I didn't expect to see flares doing quite so much. 1 second. Oh, Jesus. There's a fox in the chicken coop. There's a fox in the chicken coop. There's 2 of them, actually. Oh, man, that's beautiful. Meanwhile, over here in the middle, we still have this boring artillery shit going on, and this, oh, will they, won't they kill each other kind of thing. But over here, we have a fox in the chicken coop, and the chicken coop has reclaimed the fox. Oh, man. You could bring the Harbinger over there and kill off all of these engineers. I don't think they would be able to reclaim it in time unless you just stand still. Meanwhile, more Percivals showing up to the scene. Did I turn off HUD? I did turn off HUD. I don't know when I did that or why, but I did. Meanwhile, over here we have multiple artillery shots firing. We have the Demolisher artillery. We have the Clink Hammer. We have a bunch of TMLs, multiple Demolishers actually, so yeah, this area is under some heavy fire. Eternal now having power issues once again, and that is unfortunate. Another T2 power generator going to be built with more shielding, but this is seemingly an untenable situation. Needs to get up some kind of counter battery, some kind of way to deal with this Clink Hammer, because it's actually starting to cause, I'm going to say it again, meaningful damage. As we see the possibility of factories going down. Asylum shield generator is doing a good job with keeping all of this alive, but the shields go down at a perfectly inopportune time, leading to the death of a shield generator and a power generator. That's going to be absolutely painful. The power stalls not helping out Eternal in the slightest. We do see some volcanoes now coming online, but this siege warfare out from Bloodthirst is starting to take a toll, and it looks like there's going to be a lot more pain in store for Eternal. Eternal's comm still out here, still has a decent army, but just is going to start falling behind, it would feel, is getting picked apart at the seams. And of course we see more shield generators and power generators queued up, but you can't keep the shields online. You're not able to pay the electric bill. You can't keep the lights on, and that is absolutely horrible for your current situation. Bloodthirst, though, looking quite fine on the economy front. Let's go ahead and check on Eternal's economy. Is finally out of the power stall, it would seem. Is going to be building up another T2 power generator. We'll have to see how badly that strains his economy, but is going to be able to hold out for a little bit. Does have a lot of units now building up, all these T3 units. It looks like the Sprite Strikers have managed to be killed off, and we do have a lot of Flapjack mobile missile launchers coming over here. They're coming to their death, honestly. Yep, that's a bunch of dead Flapjacks right there. And we do, of course, see these mobile missile launchers. One of them very angrily shooting the cliff. Two of them very angrily shooting the cliff. Yep. Some of those a little bit too close to that cliff. But hey, it's okay. They won't be attacked, which is the important part. And we do have this line of Percivals. This is kind of just a death squad saying, hey, Eternal, you can't walk your comm over here. But we have a large push now out from Eternal. A lot of units over here going to try and get into the base, cause some damage to the actual economy of Bloodthirst, try and maybe even get to that HQ. But we have a couple of Percivals going to be showing up over here. We have Janus that are going to be dropping bombs on this constantly. The Janus, the airplay has been relatively light in this game. We did get T2 air out of both players, but neither player playing too heavily towards it. We of course have the Janus and the firebombing campaign out from Bloodthirst, who's been very effective with the firebombing this entire game, but it does look like the HQ. How did the HQ die? The HQ for Bloodthirst just died. Did he control K that? Is there some kind of TML battery I don't know about? How in the world? Why is that dead? That had to be a Control K, right? What is going on? Why would you Control K it just to build it slightly south? That seems strange and not needed. But we do see that Eternal is getting quite a little bit of damage done over here. Is going to be able to kill off some mass extractors, going to be killing off some power here in the middle. Could possibly cause a power stall if these power generators go down. I don't know how much Bloodthirst is in the positive. About 600, and each of these power generators produce 500, so could kill off just 2 more T2 power gens. Going to cause a massive power stall if that happens. Now we have to look at this front. Now it's the onus is on Bloodthirst. His base is falling apart. He's going to no longer have T3 land production. He is going to be in a horrible position after this. And this little run by, this push out from Eternal, looking to cause major damage, and this HQ has to be killed off. You have to go for this tech. Killing off all of those engineers, causing massive damage. Does put the... Oh, he put the Harbingers right next to the power generator, so that way the Janus would kill off the power generator? That seems wicked smart, and no more teched up units out for Bloodthirst. As long as Eternal can keep the comm alive, as long as Eternal plays safe with the comm, it's looking desperate for Bloodthirst. Needs to get out there and do something meaningful to this situation. Of course, meanwhile, the entire time, the artillery, the absolute siege mechanics coming out from Bloodthirst has caused major damage to the production for Eternal, but Eternal still managing to keep these units producing, still managing to keep some of this, the HQ about to die. Please repair that. Eternal, you don't have the power. You don't have the power. The HQ now going down for Eternal. Both players losing their tech. But meanwhile, there's going to be even more losses out here for Bloodthirst. This is going to be a base trade situation. Both players just absolute trading their base. And by base trade, I mean or not even base race. This is a base race situation. These players are racing to kill each other's bases, and it does seem that I would say so far Eternal is winning the race. Eternal has won the race. Yes, Bloodthirst's base was much more spread out over a large area, but it was so much easier to kill off because this area was so densely packed and such a difficult area to deal with that he had to build up all of this just to kill it off. Meanwhile, over here, it was just a run by a few direct fire units to kill off all of this, and it's happened in a relatively short period of time. The map's slowly dissipating, and also we have to look over here. We can see that the cliffs are still held by Eternal. Eternal still has an economy behind this. Is building up a bunch of T1 power on these cliffs to try and fix the power situation, and it is going to be a slow but possible situation that he can come back from, but it looks like Bloodthirst is losing everything to this push, losing off a lot of economy, and is now hemorrhaging economically compared to his opponent. 37 mass a second versus, well, 11 because of a power stall, but still just a overall untenable situation, I feel, for Bloodthirst. Once the power gets fixed for Eternal, once Eternal gets some more power gens built up, we are going to be seeing a situation where I don't think Eternal can lose. Honestly, there's just no production left for Bloodthirst. Bloodthirst has these units and these units alone. Meanwhile, Eternal could theoretically manage to get up some more production, get up some more units to try and just whittle him down. We just need to see Eternal keep the comm alive. Eternal running away with the comm right now is just trying to get away. We do see some artillery fire. Eternal, no, don't stop the comm, Eternal. Keep walking. Keep walking. That's the most important thing you can do right now. We do, of course, still see some Janus, but these Januses are numbered. There's not going to be any more showing up anytime soon. Not even trying to attack up these factories over here at this fire base, just going to keep falling back. Eternal moving the comm forward to try and deal with this, but doesn't have the numbers, I don't think, to deal with this force out from Bloodthirst. And just needs to find a way to whittle down this force of Percival's. I would think that you'd want to build a whole bunch of, I don't even know, building a bunch of scouts to kind of just mess with the firing, the targeting out for Bloodthirst, trying to make his army look bigger. Bloodthirst, of course, has radar over this, does see all of this stuff, but oh my gosh, Eternal, how long is this power stall going to last for you? You're barely, I don't understand, just doesn't have the power to even run the mexes or the personal shields, it would seem, for the Harbingers. And the comm of Eternal losing health massively, sitting down at 6,400 health. If the Percivals get in range of this comm, it is over. Eternal about to be taken out by the limited number of enemies. Do have some Janus over here. There is no transport. Is there? Is there a T2 transport still kicking around somewhere? No, there isn't. Oh my word, this is going to be the death of Eternal. Eternal doesn't have a way out of this. As long as Bloodthirst just keeps walking towards the comm, Eternal is going to die, and my word, this epic game is going to just end because Eternal ran out of Harbingers. Oh my word, the absolute base race is going to end with Bloodthirst winning just from the sheer amount of units produced beforehand. And oh my god, fucker, GG, well played, Suka, XD. Just another minute for transport. Oh, he had a transport building! I thought they were enabled. Alright. Either way, that is going to be it for this game. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to my patrons, Sergeant Syphilis, Nogthar, and Timothy Calderwood. Thank you all for joining me. Like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more, join the Discord, be awesome, comment down below what you had for lunch today, I don't know, and I will see you in the next one. I love you. Goodbye.